Welcome, Laura. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
My name is Laura, and I am a clinical social worker and a school social worker. I've been in schools for about 24 years, I believe. I've been in my current school district for this is my 21st year. I also do some private practice on the side, and I really enjoy that as well.
Okay. And then, what brought you to mindfulness, personally and then professionally?
Well, it actually came from my work with students. I do work with a population of students that have some, what we call here in Michigan, emotional impairments, and that just basically meant that they were struggling in school due to some mental health issues. So what kept coming up for me again and again as I worked with these students is trauma. And I researched a little bit about best practices for working with children with trauma, and mindfulness just kept coming up again and again. And I was actually very reluctant to explore mindfulness. I was kind of type A go-getter, wasn't really comfortable with the notion of sitting and I think kind of like Dan Harris, the fidgety skeptic, that's how I would have described myself. But Patty Ward came to a social work and counseling meeting that we had once and introduced it, and I reluctantly thought, okay, I'll try this. So I took the Mindful Schools course online, and I did something called a blended learning program because I'm not really an online learner, where I did have some in-person classes as well with a group of other, not just school social workers, but school counselors, and I think there was a teacher and even an administrator in there. And the first thing that you have to do in Mindful Schools is have your own practice. And I was reluctant to do that, but when I did start, I saw the changes in me immediately, and then I became hooked. So I've been using it not just in schools now, but I've been using it in my practice and mainly in my personal life as well.
So, how are you implementing the Mindful Schools program here at an elementary building?
I see the Mindful Schools program as a whole systems program. So I do push into classrooms and teach some of the Mindful Schools curriculum. I also fuse Mindful Schools into other curriculums that I'm teaching, other SEL curriculums. One that's called Second Step that does use some tenets of mindfulness in it, but I infuse some other tenets of mindfulness in there when I push in. I also teach the teachers and model for teachers. Teachers know if they walk by and my light is off and I'm in here in my office when I'm working in schools, that I might be doing a mindfulness exercise, and that then energizes me for the rest of the day. We have a school librarian. We're very fortunate, so I work with the school librarian to make sure that we have a lot of books that are housed. Of course, I feel, being a clinical social worker, that the first teacher is always the parents. So I've done some parenting workshops about mindfulness, and here in West Michigan we have the Grand Rapids Center for Mindfulness. So I try as much as I can to let parents know about what events are out there to help parents really have more conscious parenting, and I think that makes an overall healthier system.
So now, last year you practiced the Mindful Schools lessons the first semester.
Yes.
And then you were going to do the second step the second semester.
Yes.
I'm wondering how that plan went, and if you've thought about if you're going to blend the two this year, or if you're going to keep them separated like that.
I'm probably going to blend the two. What I like about mindfulness is it really hits on those internal controls that we all need. And I think when you address that first, it makes sense. So I'm probably going to infuse the two just teaching children to be present and teaching adults to be present in a world where we're distracted, so often by phones and electronics. And so I'll probably be infusing the two, or I do plan on blending mindfulness with the social skills curriculum that I'm going to be using.
So how are you going to interface the students that come into your school that are brand new?
Oh, that's fun.
That's always the challenge.
It is, but that's really fun because I had actually a new student lunch for all the new students, and I even started addressing it and talking to them about it. One thing I help kids do is I help them learn about themselves, and I help them learn about their feelings and to be able to name their feelings. And I kind of let the kids teach the other kids. And as I'm teaching in the classroom, actually some kids will tell me that are new to the school, we had this at our last school. I know all about this. I'm really happy that the program is spreading because it's I'm seeing a true difference, not just in our students, but also in school culture. So
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Laura.
yeah, thanks.